The sky over East Benton always seemed quieter than it should have been. It was the kind of quiet that wasn't peaceful. More like the silence right before a door slam, or the held breath of someone waiting to see if trouble would find them. Folks in the neighborhood joked that even the birds had learned to keep their heads down whenever a squad car rolled past. Nobody remembered exactly when things had changed, but everyone felt it. The tension, the eyes, the unspoken rules you learned if you wanted to make it home. 12-year-old Jalen Morris had grown up with those rules carved into the rhythm of his daily life. Keep your hoodie off your head after sundown. Don't run on the sidewalk. Don't talk back, even if they're wrong. Make your hands visible. And above all, avoid the officers in the patrol cars marked Unit 6 and Unit 11, the ones everyone whispered about. But on that early autumn evening, the one that would come to define so much of what happened after, Jalen wasn't thinking about any of that. He was thinking about basketball. His sneakers pounded against the pavement as he darted across Franklin Park's cracked court. The sun hung low, throwing long, golden shadows across the faded paint. The chain nets rattled, the sound layered over laughter and trash talk as older teens loitered near the benches. "Come on, Jay," his cousin Marcus shouted, clapping. "Left side. Take the shot." Jalen took the shot. Swish. Pure. He grinned, breathless, triumphant for a heartbeat. Then a pair of headlights washed across the court. The laughter stopped. The ball bounced once, twice, then rolled to a halt. Unit 6 slowed to a crawl along the park's edge. Inside sat Officer Travis Mulder, thin, pale-eyed, with a jaw perpetually clenched as if chewing on old anger. And beside him, his partner Officer Dale Haskins, broader, heavier, the kind of man whose smile never reached his eyes. Everyone on the court lowered their heads. And everyone hoped this would be the night Unit 6 simply kept driving. They didn't. Mulder's voice blared from the loudspeaker. "Hey, you three by the fence. Up against it. Now." The three teens froze. They were just sitting, one tying his shoe, the other two passing a Gatorade back and forth. Haskins stepped out of the cruiser first. Heavy boots hit the pavement, followed by the metallic click of a flashlight in his hand. Mulder emerged on the other side, one hand already resting on his belt. "Do it," Haskins barked. Nobody argued. They moved. Jalen held his breath as he watched. He wasn't being stopped, but fear didn't need to be aimed at you personally to seep into your bones. Marcus whispered, "Let's bounce." While they're busy. But leaving felt like running, and running was rule number 1, don't. Jalen stayed still. Haskins began patting down the first teen. Rough. Disrespectful. He laughed when the boy flinched. "Nervous? Something I should know about." "No, sir," the boy whispered. Mulder circled behind, eyes flicking over the court. And then they landed on Jalen. "You," he called. "Come here." Jalen felt Marcus tense. But he stepped forward. "Me, officer?" "Yeah, you. Don't act surprised." Jalen approached slowly, hands visible, stomach twisting. His mother always told him, it's not about guilt. It's about staying alive. "What's your name?" Mulder demanded. "Jalen. Jalen Morris. You live around here?" "Yes, sir. 2 blocks down." His voice sounded small even to himself. Mulder circled him once, sizing him up like a problem he already knew the answer to. "You look older than 12. "I'm 13, Jalen lied quickly. 13 sounded less like a child, less vulnerable. Mulder smirked. 13. Right. Haskins finished with the teens at the fence. "Nothing on these 3, he grunted. Mulder sighed dramatically. "Bunch of innocent angels out here today, huh?" His sarcasm bit into the air. And then, suddenly, he reached for Jalen's pocket. Jalen jerked instinctively. "Wait." Mulder slammed him backward, hitting the squad car door. Stars burst behind his eyes. "Officer!" Marcus shouted. "He didn't do anything. He just..." Mulder drew his taser halfway from its holster, eyes locked on Marcus. Another word and I put you on the ground. You want that? Ha! Silence. Jalen swallowed hard, heart racing. Mulder leaned in close, breath hot against his ear. Next time, keep still. He pulled Jalen's pocket inside out. Only lint. Mulder's disappointment turned sharp. Haskins wandered back toward the car. Let's go. Nothing here. Mulder lingered a second longer, staring Jalen down with a look that promised this wasn't over. Then he climbed back into the cruiser. The engine revved, and Unit 6 rolled away as quietly and slowly as it had arrived. The air remained frozen long after it disappeared. Marcus grabbed Jalen's shoulders. You good? Jalen nodded mutely, but his chest trembled. The teens from the fence drifted back toward the benches, muttering. That was messed up, one said. Same old, another replied bitterly. Jalen's ribs ached where Mulder shoved him. But he didn't tell anyone that. Not yet. Jalen's mother noticed the bruise before he even walked fully into the kitchen. Baby, what happened? She asked, voice soft but sharp with worry. Jalen hesitated. The rule was not to worry her. She worked too many hours already. Double shifts at the hospital, night shifts cleaning offices. Trouble wasn't something she had time for. But lying felt heavier tonight. It was the police, Mama. Her breath caught. Which police? Mulder and Haskins. Her hands froze over the cutting board. The knife clattered onto the counter. She knelt beside him, lifting his shirt enough to expose the purple marks spreading across his ribs. God. Jalen. She closed her eyes for a moment, steadying herself. You didn't do anything? No, ma'am. Were you polite? Hands visible? No sudden movements? Yes, ma'am. Her throat tightened, rage, fear, helplessness all twisting into one. That's enough, she said finally, voice trembling with resolve. We're filing a complaint. Jalen's eyes widened. Nobody filed complaints against Unit 6. Not unless they wanted their house mysteriously searched, their car mysteriously pulled over, their son mistaken for someone older and resisting. Mama, don't. Please. They'll come back. She smoothed his hair. Baby, they'll come back anyway. That bruise tells me they already have. The next morning, she took him to the Benton Internal Affairs Department. The receptionist looked bored. The officer taking their statement looked irritated. When Mulder and Haskins' names were mentioned, something flickered across the officer's face. Recognition? Fear. Annoyance. Before disappearing under a practiced blank expression. We will review the matter, he said mechanically. Someone will be in touch. No one smiled. No one apologized. No one asked if Jalen was okay. When they walked out of the building, the air felt heavier, as if the city itself was holding its breath. The first retaliation came 3 days later. A parking ticket on their car, even though they didn't own a car. The second came 2 days after that. A citation taped to their door for excessive noise. Jalen and his mother had both been at work and school when the alleged violation occurred. The third came a week later. A squad car idling outside their apartment for 30 minutes during dinner, headlights pointed straight at their window. Jalen stopped eating. His mother sat stiffly, fork trembling. She whispered, "It'll pass. They just want to scare us." But fear doesn't pass when it has your name. The real horror began the night Marcus disappeared. He left the house at 7:30 p.m. to walk to his friend's building 3 streets over. A Saturday night. Clear weather. He should have gotten there in 15 minutes. But he never arrived. When the call came in, Jalen felt something inside him freeze. Not the shock of something unimaginable, but the sickening recognition of something long feared. Jalen's mother called the police. The dispatcher's tone changed the moment she said Marcus was black. How old is the individual? 16. Aha. Well, he's a minor, so you'll need to wait at least 48 hours. He's missing, she insisted. He never just disappears. Sometimes kids wander off. Check with friends. Try calling around. Jalen grabbed the phone. He wouldn't leave without telling me, he yelled. He didn't run away. The dispatcher sighed. Look, sweetie, I'm sure he'll turn up. And then she hung up. Just like that. Jalen's mother collapsed into a chair, folding into herself, grief and dread shaking through her. Jalen felt helpless, useless, until a memory struck him like a punch. The night at the park. Marcus yelling at Mulder. Mulder's hand on the taser. Mulder's voice promised silently, "This isn't over." A cold weight settled in Jalen's gut. No one said it out loud. But everyone knew who the prime suspects were. 3 days into the search, a video surfaced. Not from the police. From a neighbor's doorbell camera. Time-stamped 8:02 p.m., the night Marcus disappeared. Grainy, dim, but still clear enough. Marcus walking down Hampton Street. Then Unit 6 pulled up beside him. Mulder stepping out. A conversation. Marcus backing away. Then Mulder grabbed him. The footage ended abruptly, as if someone had cut the camera feed. The owner of the house said the police had shown up that same night demanding copies of all security footage. They told him not to share anything with civilians. He shared the clip anonymously anyway. When Jalen found his mother crying over the video on her phone, he felt the world tilt. "They took him," she whispered. Jalen's fists clenched so tightly his nails drew blood. That was when Detective Ruth Navarro entered the case. She wasn't IA. She wasn't a local PD. She was part of Benton's Violent Crimes Task Force, with a reputation for investigating officers other divisions were too afraid to touch. Tall, sharp-eyed, with a calm that made people straighten their posture, she walked into the Morris living room like she already knew half the truth. "I saw the footage," she said, sitting across from them. "And I believe you." The words alone cracked something open in the room. Jalen's mother broke down in sobs. Jalen stared at Navarro, relief mixing with suspicion. "But they're cops," he whispered. "They'll just say he resisted. Or ran." "They might," Navarro replied. "But I've been watching Mulder and Haskins for months. Complaints disappear. Reports get rewritten. Patterns get buried." She paused. "But a disappearance is different. They can't bury this one." Jalen felt something he hadn't felt since Marcus vanished. Hope. It lasted 3 days. On the 4th night, Navarro's house was broken into. Not ransacked, searched. Files missing. Her PC wiped. Her car tires slashed. And someone left a bullet on her kitchen counter. No note. No need. She called Jalen's mother immediately. Her voice was steady, but something darker undercut it. "I need you two to stay inside," she said. "Lock your doors. Only open for me, or someone you trust." "What's happening?" Jalen asked. "They're getting desperate." "Why?" "Because we're getting close." But Jalen didn't understand how close until the next morning, when a text appeared on his phone from an unknown number. "Stop. Or next time, it won't just be Marcus." Attached was a photo, taken through their apartment window, of Jalen, sleeping.